Not good?
Say what?
Not enough?
Okay.
Okay, so in states already testing, 2% of the population were testing positive, according to Michelle L. Price, in tests show few welfare applicants use drugs. 2% may not sound like very much, but when you put it in perspective with the mass number of people that are on welfare, it is a lot. We also have several others failing to comply with that 2%. According to Catherine Wittenberg's welfare, drug testing yields 2% positive results. There are another 2% who aren't even showing up for the tests. So that's another large amount of people. When we do put it in perspective, we have 148 million Americans that receive government aid, according to CNN Money, Tammy Lubby. 2% of people would be 2,960,000 people testing positive for drugs. So 2% is a lot of people. Unemployment on drugs, they wouldn't get hired if they're on drugs and they're on unemployment and trying to get a job. I know what some of you are thinking. People would be clean just long enough to test negative for these results, and then they would resume their activity. That's why I think that this drug testing should be random, because if you give them an inclination of when they're going to be drug tested, then they're going to be clean and they're going to be negative. However, I don't believe that the government should be able to just take away our rights and just drug test at will. So I think there should be a way that they can kind of make the randomness fair and not like they're targeting specific people or trying to take away rights or anything like that. The current system requires that people renew every single year. So maybe they could do a system where if you were randomly drug tested, then that adds so many months onto your renewal or like a year, but you just wouldn't know when you were going to get tested. So like you could be tested and that would be good for a year, but then 3 months later you're tested again, so now you're good for 2 years. But you don't know when you're going to be tested. So, but it does need to be fair. Money meant for bills or their family is being misused on drugs. In Florida, according to USA Today, there is a clause that if an adult is disqualified, then another adult can qualify for a child's benefits. That's one of the good things that they've kind of worked out, because many of the government programs are meant for kids, like WIC and things like that. The parent gets it, but it's meant for the child. So in those cases, another qualified adult could step up to the plate and receive that child's benefits. And it kind of has a dual purpose, because if a parent pops positive on a drug test, then we can kind of monitor the child's welfare, because if they're living in a home with drugs, then they may not be in a good environment anyways. Along the same lines, it is unconstitutional to track the money spent, so this random drug testing is kind of the next best way to find these people using drugs and things of that nature, because we don't want the government all up in our finances or anything like that, figuring out how we're spending our money. So, in conclusion, we obviously don't agree with people who want to use our tax dollars in a bad way. We want those programs to be set up for people who truly need it, including us if we ever need them. We all pay for these programs. I get drug tested, y'all get drug tested, our money pays for all of this. I hope you've been persuaded that these people in government assistance should be tested within constitutional means. We don't want to take anybody's rights away. The taxpayers drug tested, so should these people. If they're using drugs and they're on unemployment, they're not going to be hired, and we don't want them to misappropriate our funds. I'm totally jumping over myself. So nervous.
Oh, good. I pushed
Thanks, guys.
Hold on, I pushed the top and it's still recording.
Okay, it's okay.
Oh my goodness.
Hit movie again then.